Welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate, episode 52 in our long-going, year-long series. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We have an amazing show planned out for everybody here. Tonight, we are going to bring a special guest on, and obviously, the big news of the effing hour is the points changes, rules changes, and the scenario changes. So tonight, we have two topics we're going to cover quickly, and then we're going to get into all the changes. Because there is new pilots that dropped for the Magna Guard, as well as for the, whatever they call that, Z95. And we are going to 100% cover those, as well as a special announcement that we have once I bring my guests in for tonight. Without further ado, though, let me bring in everybody tonight. Please welcome Charles, JJ, and our special guest, Mr. Greg Townsend. How are you tonight, sir?
Where'd you get Townsend from?
I was going to say.
I'm like, that's not Greg's last name.
I'm fine with it. I just wanted to know what the thought process was here.
Is your father's name Peter?
No. Actually, his middle name is.
Hey,
there you go.
There we go. You're related to. There you go.
Look, just relate Greg with money because he's a cash man.
Desolate said I was worried there was another Greg.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the show tonight. Tonight we have a lot of ground to cover. When we get to the changes, we are going to cover the rules changes first, scenario changes, and the ban changes before we cover any pilot changes. My goal is, I should probably turn JJ's static image off and let you see him for real, because he actually joined us.
Yeah.
Just
let it look like he's being a ventriloquist for the rest of the episode.
All right, cool, done. But we are gonna cover some of the points. Some of the points.
Gets to see it.
Some of the points changes, but I have to tell you what we want to do with the points changes first is go through all the other shit, because all the other shit matters so much more, I think, than the changing of the pilots, except for the fact that guess who no longer has missile slots?
The Jedi. Yes.
Guess who no longer has trajectory simulator ability?
B-Wing!
Everybody.
Trajectory simulator was banned.
Now, only what, one ship could take it?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was banned specifically for that ship. Anyway, how was your guys' weekend today, this weekend, whatever the hell it is? I know JJ was out with his wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Happy
we're celebrating
to Mrs.
Sherry.
JJ.
Yeah. We're celebrating her birthday this weekend. We had a really nice weekend going out, visiting some friends. We had lots of freaking alcohol, and and we just got home. So yeah, we're tired, exhausted, but it was a lot of fun.
I went to a goth bar last night.
A golf bar?
Goth.
Oh, goth.
It's a place where white people that have no fashion sense other than the color black go.
Wait, did you put on fake tattoos on your arms when you went there?
He wore Jeff Hardy.
Put on fake tattoos. I have real tattoos.
He wore Jeff Hardy. He wore like the Jeff Hardy arm socks that have the
that's what I was saying. Yeah, it's not goth enough, man. Come on.
Did you get out the Jinkos?
No. I didn't know it was a goth bar when I was going to it, so I was wearing jeans, and luckily I had a black shirt on with like yellow. Nailed it.
That was great. Well prepared. Yes.
It was supposed to be. They described it as a literary bar, so I was just like, oh, so it's gonna be a place you can't like talk very loud ass DJ playing, everyone talking normal.
What is a literary bar?
It's a bar you're supposed to read at.
Interesting.
But I went on.
Who goes to a bar to read? You can just sit at your house and read.
All I did
sometimes you want other people to pour the drinks.
Exactly.
Fair. I grilled meat and cheese and bread on my grill, and then drank
grilled
and
cheese.
Yeah. So it's like hallouma cheese.
Slice of cheese on the.
No, it's like it's like a very dense cheese that can be grilled so it melts a little bit without like completely falling apart. It's actually really.
You're a very dense cheese. Got 'em, boys. God, I'm so
Charles
good.
Smokehouse, right? Charles Smokehouse. That's what you
That's
call
right.
it on the
That's right. For more than one reason.
That's right.
All right, fair enough. I went to it's a America party, so I have a new America tattoo that hopefully will come off someday. Because I had a friend who
those colors don't run, motherfucker.
well, I tried to get them to run. It didn't work very well. It does not come off, and now I have to wear this to work. So, yay! But no, we went. My buddy, it took him 7 years, and he finally is now a U.S. citizen. So now he has dual citizenship in the U.S. and in England. And so, take a swag. Guess how much it costs to become a U.S. citizen?
$28 million.
Well, we know that's definitely not true because if it was, he would be we'd have a lot more things to talk about. We'd have a fancier podcast.
I want to say 55 grand.
I would guess closer to about 27 grand total with all the court dates and everything and legal fees and everything that you got to go through.
All I know is that freedom isn't free.
Oh my God. All right, so it costs between $9,000 and $12,000, and if you're unlucky and they don't like you because of your skin color, then it costs anywhere between 18 and like 25. So Charles, you're probably the closest to that piece of it there.
And that's if you get approved the first time, because if they turn you down, you got to start the process all over again.
Yep, and that's why it costs more. Like that's why that 18 to 25 or whatever was like the range that people were telling him. Like he got approved first time over, but still, it's insane. You have to spend $9,000 to $12,000 to become a U.S. citizen. $9,000 to $12,000. Then you get the privilege of paying fucking taxes. Welcome to America, Mark.
Free. It costs folks like you and me.
I have a friend of mine in Grand Rapids, Chris. They're from Canada, and he and his wife and kids have been trying they work for Kellogg's. And they've been trying to get citizenship forever. It takes for freaking ever.
Yeah. His was like a 6-year process.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so that was fun. Sounds like we all had a good weekend. I'll be honest, I did spend Saturday night between 10 and midnight looking through the points changes. I did a little bit on Friday as well, but for the most part, the actual ship point cost changes, I didn't spend a lot of time on. I spent more time on the rules and scenarios because of how busy we were this weekend. But with that being said, why don't we actually get into our spoilers for the week? And brought to you by Planning Phase Syndicate. But anyway, we're going to have our spoilers. And the first one that we have up on the screen is Magna Guard Executioner. Who wants that one?
It's a generic I3. Has network calculations, which is typical droid tomfoolery. It can calculate to boost, calculate to barrel roll, or evade to barrel roll. Target lock and red boost. 2 attack, 2 evade, 5 hull, 2 shield. And that's about it.
Yeah, doesn't have much, does it?
This is 5 points, right? If I remember correctly from the list.
I don't know because I only looked at Cad Bane's price. To be perfectly honest with you,
what was Cad Bane's price?
5. Very excited. You could not give Cad Bane for 4. That's all.
I was really hoping for another 2-point option.
No. Who do you want? You want Namlam for 2 points, right? That's who you wanted for 2
Bro,
points.
I would take an M3A for 2 points. Like, give me Sonny Bounder for 2 points or something.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Sonny should come down to 2 points. I mean, and don't even give her any like mods or anything like that, like or extra.
Hey, her ability that if you after rolling and re-rolling, if all your dice match, you get to add a result is not that. It's like heroic, but if you cut one leg off.
Yeah, that's her.
All right, next one, Magna Guard Protectorate. Who wants that one?
I'll do this one because it's just like the other one, only different. So it's an I4, still network calculations, same stat lines, same abilities, but after placing forces, you can assign the guarded condition to one friendly ship other than Magna Guard Protector. So even if you run 2 of them, you can't assign the guarded condition to another Magna Guard protector. It has to be a ship that does not have that. And the ability, the guarded ability, 1 second. I'm getting to it. Sorry.
Yep.
And while you defend, if you are not in the bullseye arc, roll 1 additional defense die for each friendly calculating or evading Mana Guard protector in the attack arc. And since the protector is 2 dots, you'll never get more than 2 dice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good,
That is pretty good.
actually.
Yeah.
And
Now,
it doesn't say anything about this going away. So let's say you put this on Cad Bane, you kill the protectorates. It does not matter. This, and I don't know, I guess I could be wrong, but this feels, again, it's like a gimmick you have to buy into, but this feels pretty strong.
Yeah, but if you kill the protectors, it does go away.
Does it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you don't get anything
yeah.
if there's no
You're
protectors
right.
on the board.
okay.
But even in a 5 or 6 round game, which maybe there'll be more rounds now that they've changed some of the scenario rules, but think of it this way. They're gonna have, if you have 2 of them and they're at 4 points each, that's 8 points plus CAD, 8 plus CAD. Or can you imagine Grievous with this? Oh my god!
They're actually 5 points apiece. I was just taking a look at it. The only one that's 4 points is the generic that we saw just before this. This is a 5-point ship.
EXE, right?
Yeah. So would you consider at 10 points running 2 of these along with either Grievous or Cad Bane?
To be perfectly honest with you, at 5 points, probably not. But I would
Would
try
you run
it.
one?
I would run 1. Yes.
Okay.
I think for the stat line, and again, I didn't get into any of their loadout points. I think it depends on what their loadout points are. But if they have enough loadout points to be decent, then I would run 1 at 5 points.
They carry 18 loadout points.
Oh, then
which
yes,
is the same as Cad Bane, basically.
That's pretty good for that size of ship.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially because I can put Discord missiles on them. Do they have talent slots on them?
They do not. They have double cannon, missiles, and a mod slot. That's it.
Okay. So the answer is yes. I still think I would. I still think I would run 1. I don't know about 2 though. 2 feels
I'd run 2, but
silly.
with an Nantex.
2 in an Antex?
Yeah. Can you give me a chair tech there?
Yeah, you can put chair tech in there. Yep.
And that means I can take the tractor anytime I want and not have to worry about losing dice. I'll gain 1 dice in the aggregate.
That is true.
You're not wrong.
And their initiative match too at 4. That sounds really good.
Yeah, and SureTech, he could take he could take elusive too, can he?
I'll tell you right now, actually. Context.
Man, that sounds like what I might be running tomorrow for local.
Yeah, he has 15 points in 2 talent slots. So yeah,
right.
You can put him with elusive and then also have ensnare.
Oh man, that sounds good.
That's really
People
good.
are gonna hate that.
And he's chair text is chair text 5, right?
Initiative 4.
No,
Well, he's 5 points though.
Yeah, 5 points.
Oh yeah, 5 points. Yeah, 5
So that
points.
puts you at 15. You can go 2 vultures, vulture hyena, whatever. Grievous is 5.
Grievous is 5. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go 4 ships, it's not a bad
That's
4
pretty good.
shipper there. All I4.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, cool. Let's build with that later if we have time today.
We won't. Not with all these changes.
All right. You're killing me. All right. So here is the actual dial for it. And I want to say this violates everything separatist. Like seriously, why am I getting Banks as blues?
You're getting Banks because it's meant to stay with the Belba Lab, not anything else.
All right. I guess fair enough. But it's just weird though that it is there. And I know that those
they're designed to protect Grievous.
I know,
like canon. So that's what this dial is. It's a dial that mimics the belly rub.
It's
I
better
really
than
want a
belly
ship
rub.
that gets 4 banks.
Oh
Yeah.
Then I got to get on the whole template set. No, thank you. No.
Having the 4 straight be blue pretty nice. I mean, honestly, not a bad dial.
Yeah.
Not having the one forward kind of sucks, but one bank's great. And though having them blue, great. Having access to one hard, really good. Decent turnarounds.
Yeah, this is better than the belly rub. Period. Hands down.
Yeah. 2 talons, 5 Ks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only red maneuvers on there are 3 hards.
Yeah, the only thing it's missing,
nice.
I would prefer a sloop over the talons. I don't like talons, but that's just my play style.
2 talon, though, is really good.
Yeah.
I understand wanting 3 sloops over 3 talons, but a 2 talon is a very short turnaround, which is super nice to have. That is very separatist, actually. A very short turnaround.
Yeah, exactly.
If you watch me run, you know how many times I do a two talent. Maybe like 10 times in my whole life here.
And most of them ended you on a rock?
Well, that doesn't matter.
It does. Damn it.
All right. The last spoiler that we have is... Oh, I guess it's not the last one. So we got a generic Z95. I don't care about it. It's an i3. I like the fact that it's an i3. Other than that, I don't care.
It's a bad ship for bad people.
Yeah, nobody's going to use this. Especially when it's the same price as this ship here at an i5. So NAC is the next one. Greg, why don't you read the next one? Or do you not have it up?
I got it. NAC, the incautious instructor. Incautious, by the way, not a word. After you are destroyed, you may choose a friendly, non-limited ship at range 0 to 2 and assign one of your equipped talent upgrades to it. End of game. Return all talent upgrades to their original ships. Force the versatile frame ship ability. I'm going to look up incautious right now.
I just did. It is actually a word. It's heedless of potential problem or risks.
That explains why he went to face down 5 tri-fighters in that one picture.
Yeah. And the tri-fighters seem to be winning.
That's the only time the tri-fighter has ever won.
But like real tri-fighters, they can't hit shit.
That's very true, actually. I agree. Personally, so I'll be honest, I'm not impressed by this. I think it's cool, I guess, to some extent. Like when he dies, he gives something away. But
I think it's stupid.
I don't really care about it. Like I wouldn't. The only reason I would run this out of over any other ones is because it's an i5. Other than that, I don't really care. Like it's inconsequential to me.
It's like when I first saw this, and like before the points came out, I'm like, okay, maybe the only edge case I could see is putting outmaneuver on this. If you have another ship that has, the other ships, out of the arc and good setup, and then outmaneuver went up to 12 points, and I'm like, well, there goes that idea. So.
Yeah,
other than that,
are you really going to spend the points to get one of your i5s killed so you can transfer a talent? Get out of here.
I mean,
get out of here.
Imagine though, killer without maneuver. I mean, that would be kind of cool. At i2.
When's the i2 going to ever actually outmaneuver anything though, other than a tri-fighter?
Good point.
Maybe the tri-fighter, but that's it. Oh, you're killing me, JJ. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel good about this.
Outmaneuver me. My Magna Guard protectors pump up my dice by 2.
Charles, your thoughts?
Imagine the first time that a trick shot blackout shoots at a double Magna Guarded protected.
Oh
ship.
Man, poor blackout.
My opinion on this is my opinion of any Z95. Like, no.
Short and sweet. No,
it doesn't matter what faction
they look
it's
cool.
in. Yeah, sure. So what the company did apparently between the New Republic era and the modern era was make the ships smaller. We didn't add shields, we didn't add hull, we didn't change the guns, we didn't make it more maneuverable. We just shrunk it down and made it more compact.
Yeah, exactly.
And now. I don't like the Z95. I never have. The only time I flew it was in 1.0 when you could put Hot Shot Blaster on it. So you had a one-time use turret. And that if you had a ship that had Java on it, then you had a 2-time use turret on a Z95, which was nice. But outside of that,
yeah,
no, thank you.
All right. Well, that's all these spoilers. I'm guessing next week we won't get any spoilers, at least from this, and hopefully they give us spoilers maybe for Celebration, Star Wars Celebration weekend. Maybe that's what we'll get, but I doubt we're going to get anything. It'll be, my guess is they're busy doing that shit.
So, just kind of related to that, are we doing a Kenobi spoiler cast next weekend?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yes, we have to talk about when we're going to do it. Give us Dorito spoilers. Yes, we will tell you our favorite Dorito, which mine is Cool Ranch. Spoiler alert.
In any other country, it's Cool American.
Cool American. There you go. There you go. I want
really
some Cool
is.
American
if
chips.
you go to Europe, it's Cool American Doritos.
Obi-Wan comes out on
Friday,
which is my birthday, actually. So,
hey,
boo! No one cares about your birthday. Give us a win.
I do.
So, just so you guys can see, this is how I feel about the Obi-Wan series.
Oh,
yes.
Wow, what a curmudgeon!
I'm
It's
excited.
because it's not scum. That's why.
I am hoping that they screw it up just as bad as they did Boba Fett.
I do not. I hope it goes down and we can show the fact
I hope it
that
goes down in flames.
Boba Fett just this shit.
No one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. It's so confusing.
I think the only thing worse than Boba Fett's entire series was Slayer's entire discography.
Oh, now you're just gonna get personal there. If we're gonna go to what's worse, drinking $100 scotch with ice in it. I mean, like we could go with worse.
Scotch.
How much was the scotch you're drinking?
$60.
Who drinks a $60 scotch? I have a $32 bottle of rye
So, hold
bourbon
on.
I'm drinking
Hold on.
on the rocks.
That looked
I
like
have a
what is your
$1 bottle of Snapple, and it's better.
What is your temperature outside right now?
No, Snapple's disgusting. You are just trying to get a
Sir!
Snapple
Sir!
endorsement, and it's not working, bro.
No. This is
Sir!
Snapple Man. Chris, what's your temperature outside right now?
I have no idea. It's inconsequential because
Ours
in my
is
house
almost
is
90. I need ice in everything I drink.
because you live in hell.
Yes. And
Hell's
JJ
waiting room.
inhabits it with me.
yes, exactly.
All right. When I was in Florida, I drink my scotch neat. Anyway, we're gonna move on. We're moving on.
I've met you in person. It's about the only thing you do neatly.
That's probably fair.
Ooh, got him.
Got him.
Got
boys.
him. Got it the fuck out of him.
All right. So let's
Optimus.
talk about rules changes. And before okay. So all right. So we're gonna give a little bit of a individualized take, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around the room. We're gonna give a 2-minute kind of update, like how we feel about some of the changes. If you didn't look through all the changes and don't have a feeling, just say you didn't look through them and don't have a feeling, and that's fine. If you have whatever time you spent, but let's just keep it to 2 minutes. But I feel that kind of will preset the segment here, right? Because some of us are going to be more excited than others. I will tell you there's some changes I really did not like at all, whereas other ones were exactly what I'd asked for. So, who wants to begin?
I'll go first.
I didn't look at any of the changes, so this will be my first time seeing them other than right before the stream when we were talking about them. Done.
All right.
That's
easy then.
So,
Charles, you can't be that disappointed. Then it'll be like immediate on camera disappointment. It will not be like, it'll be the raw pure effect, kind of like when you put that ice in that scotch there.
So for me, I actually like the changes. I think specifically when it came to a lot of the errata and the ban list, I think that these are positive changes for the game. I was a little confused about the changes to ions. There's certain parts of it that I didn't quite feel that were necessary. But overall, I do enjoy a lot of the changes, specifically the update to range 0 attacks. That I felt that was really, really great. And yeah, excited.
Greg.
Are we giving complete overview?
Yeah,
How we
sure.
feel?
The overview you can do in 2 minutes, Greg.
I don't like their points philosophy, but I overall like what they did with points. The rule changes, don't have a problem with the ion changes, fine. Don't have a problem with the obstacle changes, fine. The biggest change to me is the change to scramble the transmission, and I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so why don't we go ahead and start with the changes? So JJ, what's the first one that we're going to be talking about?
So the first one is the biggest one for me that I really agreed with. This one is a change to the range 0 attack here under the modified attack dice step. The change that they added on here is while performing a primary attack at range 0, the attacker's die cannot be modified except by the defender. Previously, the only thing that could change a range or modify a range 0 attack would have been the force, which made Jedi's extremely good at range 0 attacks because they had a higher chance of hitting at that distance. But with this now, they no longer can use the force to do that, which is fantastic.
It seems to me like you got a different version of the rule book, because in the rule book I have, it actually says "Dear Desi"
yes,
on the page. Weird. Whatever. I guess teach their own, I suppose.
So this right here, to me, is the best change that they made, hands down. Like, I am very ecstatic, like Greg is, that scenario change. Like, I really think that that's top notch. We'll see how it plays out, but I really think that the scenario changes have been like my favorite, minus this piece. And this is because not everybody gets force, not everybody can take force, and the force, when lowering points down to 20 points, the force ability is just like you're getting a free calculate every round and another mod, no matter what. And if you have multiple force, you're getting that. And me having a 3 force Obi-Wan, yeah, sure, I get it. Yeah, you can run out of force and you can't recharge them that fast. I 100% understand that. But there's so many other ships out there that it can outclass them way too fast at range 0. So to me, this is the totes my goats of all the rules changes that happen. Like, somebody get me a shirt that says "fuck the force at range 0." I'd wear it.
BRB gotta make $10 real fast.
Happy birthday, Chris. There you go.
All right.
I'll cover ion changes because this is actually one of my things that I've enjoyed for the changes that we discussed right before the show. Because for me, it makes the most sense. I don't necessarily give a crap about being able to change bank or straight for your one maneuver. I've always kind of liked that it was a 1 straight, but I guess it gives you some arc dodge capability potentially. Still can only take the focus action, which is good. Nothing has changed there. It does state that now because they're including the bank and the straight, and I do enjoy this, that changing bearing, difficulty, and speed of maneuvers cannot be changed unless the ability explicitly says that it changes the ion maneuver. But the one thing that I like the best, this breaks any target locks that your ship has taken or is maintaining. So you can still be locked, but because I shut down the electrical systems of your spaceship, you no longer have a target lock on me. And for me, that makes the most sense of the changes. I enjoy it. I think that it gives Ion a little bit more bite rather than just making your ship go straight. And I really enjoy the changes to Ion.
So yeah,
I also like that they did specify that if a ship is ionized during the planning phase, is no longer ionized at the beginning of the activation. So if somehow like you're able to pull one of the ion tokens off through another ship's ability, then it activates as normal and no longer has to do the ion maneuver, which allows you to still plan a maneuver rather than just saying, oh, my dial doesn't matter for this turn.
So one thing to add on to this here is the point where it says that if an ionized ship style shows a stop maneuver, they perform their ion maneuver as a 1 straight maneuver. So if you're able during the system phase to drop a counter net onto a ship that could do a stop maneuver, they're no longer doing that stop maneuver, which is pretty big, especially like on gauntlets that, they might be facing a rock and now they're not going to be able to stop rotate and they're going to go right onto that rock. So
that also covers the loophole of setting your dial wrong, setting a stop and then you didn't set the bearing.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I like that.
A little bit of covering their ass.
Yep.
Although
Well, and
they
I
didn't
think
do anything about backups, so that's interesting.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah. Fair point. Yeah.
So just real quick on this, I just want to make sure that I'm understanding the whole one bank versus one straight. Your direction of the ion maneuver matches the bearing that you did on your dial. So if you did anything bearing left, then you do the one bank to the left. If you did anything bearing right, you did the one bank to the right. And if you did any straightforward maneuver, then you're going to go one straight. So it's not a choice at the time of being ion. You have to choose it when you're setting your dial.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I like that.
Yeah, and I think, the fancy thing here is right, if you're ionized from a counter net, let's say, and, the question, that Deslin had is, does that change your actual maneuver? And the way I interpret this, and I'm not Dion, or not Dion, Dion, to me, this does change that. Hence, when I drop a counter net on you from my stupid bombardment droid, you're doing a bank or forward, which again, like, this feels weird that they're going to give that to us. Like, I can't imagine that that's like an intended thing, but I mean, counter nets did go up in price because of, I'm guessing because of this.
I think what they saw was a shit ton of ion being used, ion torpedoes, ion missiles, and we're like, we need to give players some agency because a lot of these ionized players are just being ionized and can't do shit.
Yeah. And I won't lie and say that I like the ionizing piece of, when I played those bombardment drones, specifically because it messes with your ability to take objectives and do all these other things. Like, and in fairness, is probably an unfair equivalent. That's a new word. There you go, Greg. I can make up new words too. Equivalent, to being able to spend the force at range 0. Like it seems a little unfair.
This hooks up CIS. Like, one of the big things you could do to a vulture sitting on a rock, ionize them forward through the rock. If they didn't land on the rock again, you're taking that rock damage. Now you're not, because of the new obstacle rules. So they're kind of hooking people up here. They're I mean, this to me, like, I'm sure people are gonna have some opinions on it, but to me, it's whatever. Like, I don't not like it. It's not like something that I think about at all.
I don't think it's game breaking. Yeah,
it's just one of those things. They change. They're trying something else. I'm fine with it.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So since you brought up obstacle, Greg, let's talk about the obstacle change. So what was the obstacle change that they put in the rules this week?
Before ship moves, if it is overlapping an obstacle, it does not suffer the effects of moving through that obstacle. So if you go over a rock one turn and then your nub would still hit it again, you don't take the double D. You don't get it again. No double picklers for you. Just one obstacle damage there. That's very nice of them. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Part of me is like, if you were going to hit it twice, it's kind of your fault. Get better. But
yeah, in the mode that we're in right now, I love it personally. Like, I think it's a good change, especially because if we talk about and go back to what the developers explained originally was accessibility of the game, and I could tell you, like, as somebody that has played against somebody newer, when they hit that rock and you're like, yeah, by the way, you're going through that rock a second time, bro. Like, I'm just now, you're like, the guy rolled 2 damage and took his Howl ship all the way down to 1 health. And then it was just easy picking from there. And it was just like, sorry, I just won 4 points.
I would buy the accessibility argument more if they weren't eroding every fucking card in the game. And also if you could buy a core set and actually play the game they wrote. Like, there's no accessibility to new people in this game. Every card they're going to get is different than what's actually printed on the card. And if they got a core set, they're not going to be able to play the game as AMG intends.
I'll be honest, when we were at our tournament a couple weeks ago, there was a guy that was a 40K player, and he came over to ask like what the generic buy-in to get into X-Wing was, and someone started talking about the core set, and I just kind of looked over like, you don't even have to buy a core set anymore. You can buy a damage deck for $7.99. You can buy one of the 3 ship starters for $39.99, and then you can buy your own set of custom acrylic templates offline for
$30.
$8 to $10 if you buy the rando one from Curled Paw, where you have no control over the color, design, or anything like that. It's just a random acrylic set. But I mean, you could buy into and have a viable list for less than $100 now in the game, almost less than 75, depending on if you wanted to run 2 Y-wings and a Hawk. You don't have to buy the starter set at all, other than for the obstacles. Yep. And most of us have so many obstacles that it's not even funny.
Yeah, I have like 3 copies. Jeez.
Yeah, somebody should start a
depends what you consider like a starting point. Like, I wouldn't consider flying 2 Y-wings and a Hawk to be anyone's starting list. Like, maybe to just like figure out what the game is, but like to actually play the game, I would never stick someone with that.
No, but I mean, as far as like initial buy-in, but I mean, to be fair, you could run a viable list, like a viable 4-ship list for a minimal investment. Warhammer comparative, right? If you're
anything Warhammer comparative is going to be cheaper.
Charles, you can buy the Empire starter kit.
Nobody wants to
fly.
No.
Keep in mind, you have to buy deodorant too if you're going to do X-Wing starter, and that's a cost over Warhammer.
But think about it though. You could get the Empire starter kit and get two interceptors and a defender, and with Vader going down to 9 points, spoiler alert, you can now run Vader and those interceptors, and then buy one other ship and still run it in that list.
What you got to do with a new player is be like, just run down the factions. Be like, what do you want to fly? And they're going to tell you, and then they're going to say scum, and you're going to be like, choose a less expensive faction, man.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cheap to get into now, though, because of the fact that
you can't get into scum for cheap because none of it is in 2nd edition.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. No, you're not wrong.
I mean, the good ships are not cost
we
effective.
We have the Scum Falcon, the Mining Guild TIE, the Jump Master, the YV666.
Okay, the Hawk and the 3 out of those 4 ships are large bases, which are all going to be $40 to $50. So that's
right. That's what I'm saying.
That's what Greg is saying. Like when you look at the
2.0 prints for Scum,
you have the Fang Fighter. The Fang Fighter did transit.
It's Fang in 2.0. I don't even remember.
It did release individually at the black box.
But any like cool ass ship, like IG-88 ship that like a Star Wars fan would want.
Can we get robots, please? Can we get those black box
and Star Vipers, please? Star Vipers.
Bubba Buddha's like, you people need to buy used so cheap. Like, we have control over who's selling shit here.
AMG. I'm just gonna let you know. We know Dion bribed you to get hull upgrade out of the game. I don't know what it would cost, but I'll do some sketchy shit to get the Star Viper into black box. Just let me know.
You don't.
I'll bear a child for you.
Somebody clip that. That's a good clippable moment right there. I don't want to see the other piece of the video that you'll attach to it. But...
Everyone's giving Dion credit for the hull upgrade thing, but I recall complaining a million times that I think hull and shield upgrade should be banned. I think this might be a Greg thing.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe it's a Greg thing.
When they get to shields, we'll know that it's a Greg thing. Yes.
Well, they raise shields, so that's something.
Yeah.
All right. So let us talk about. Let's move on. So those were all the rules changes, right, JJ?
Yeah, and then the following is the errata that they added to to a lot of the pilots.
Yeah, since you deleted all my notes. So the first one, let's move on to the actual errata piece, which is a little weird. Some of the erratas, I'm not super excited about these, but I guess I understand it. So,
Yeah, so starting with the TIE Striker, so the ship's ability has been changed, the chassis ability, specifically for the ailerons. The ailerons are no longer considered a maneuver; they're considered as a boost. So the new errata for it is that ship's ability should read adaptive ailerons before you reveal your dial. If you are not stressed, you must boost. So what this means for the strikers is that when they start their activation, they have to check for a boost, which means that they cannot partially like execute that maneuver by like bumping into another friendly ship or another ship in general, or go over an obstacle. So at that point, they cannot complete that boost maneuver, and then they reveal the dial and then perform their actions, their maneuver as regular. The other side of this errata affects the TIE Reaper, which is the medium base for the Empire. Their ability for their ailerons now reads controlled ailerons before you reveal your dial. If you're not stressed, you may boost, which gives them the option to either take that boost action before they move or not, which is actually really big for having them control how fast they can go down the board for that big medium base for them.
So JJ, real quick in chat, unresolved. Can a striker carry a cache? It must boost, but you cannot boost when you have a crate. So does carrying a crate also cancel out the ailerons ability?
Yes,
I would say
because
yes.
the golden rule cannot overrides everything else. So
Fair enough.
So the question becomes then, so they made this change, right? With these ailerons, and the question is it just because of like the composure interaction? And I can't remember, there's like another card that interacts with your failing a movement and things like that. Is that why they made that change, just so that they could distinguish it for these two ships?
I think the other thing, though, I don't know if this is why they made the change, but I can say that having played against John in a game where he ran like 4 or 5 strikers, being able to partially maneuver into like a bump and then skip past the ship, whereas if you would fail your boost, then it changes the trajectory of the ship. You know what I mean? Because now you can't just skip past. But being able to do all of that before your maneuver made them so hyper maneuverable that you could just kind of skip around and bump into things because it was listed as a maneuver. But you could also like go onto a rock and then do your maneuver back off of the rock, and all sorts of crazy little like nuanced things that only the striker and the Reaper could do that now they can't, because it is now a boost instead of an actual maneuver.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, think about it this way, and I kind of agree with you to some extent, right? Because if I could do that bump and take a focus stress and then do a 2 straight and go right past you, I mean, like, I don't know. So, like, I do kind of like that piece of it because it fixes it.
Hold on. So here's JJ. I'm going to run this by you, someone in chat. So you can boost. The wording in the mission text for the cache and the crate one says that you cannot perform a boost action. So in your action step, you can't boost. The striker ability is not an action, just like Anakin's barrel roll is not an action on the Naboo fighter. So because it doesn't say you must perform a boost action, it just says you must boost. I don't know if
that seems like a failure on their behalf.
It does, but I mean, but we're looking at rules as written.
Yeah, we'll have to run this by the AMG team,
the tribunal,
because just based on that wording, because there's no other precedence for like the example that I would use is acquiring airlock versus target lock action. I think like that's the differentiation that they're trying to make in this case. Boost, like do a boost versus doing a boost action. And I think that AMG may have just left that second part there because there's no other reference.
But it does matter in the same,
it does matter,
because of an action, like getting a focus token versus taking a focus action. You must boost versus you must take a boost action. These are two different
Yep.
variances.
Why wouldn't they
of the
just
same
put
thing.
you must gain a boost? Like they could just put the fucking game word in there, just like they do for everything else, and we wouldn't even have to have this conversation.
I know, but it's X-Wing, so we have to have this conversation.
All right. So the other thing, did you notice the other thing? Like, and we haven't talked about it yet, but for the Striker, for the Vagabond's ability, it says if you are not stressed, you may drop one device. Was that in there before?
Yes, because you could ailerons, then drop a bomb, then do your regular maneuver.
All right. So it's just blue because they're being anyway. It's blue because they should not have made it blue. I never played Vagabond, so I have no idea.
You're not alone.
I have. He was a pretty decent pilot, just to carry with proxies, but that's about it. So,
all right, let's move on to the next ones.
So the BB Astromech and the BB-8 droid, both in the Astromech slot, gave you the ability to spend a charge to perform a barrel roll action with the BB Astromech, or a barrel roll or boost action with the BB-8 droid. These were just changed the effect timing to be part of the system phase instead of, I believe, after that they were just part of the activation phase.
Yeah, they were right before when you revealed your dial, then you can perform the barrel roll or boost action.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel this changes
Should call them
a
the
lot?
Ada droid.
I think it's actually fairer, honestly. I during the system phase, I think this is where those abilities belong, because it makes. I mean, granted, you didn't really see a lot of people running BB-8, the pod, and BB Astromech was seeing some play before 2.5. And it was mainly used just for the charges for just Pava on the Resistance. That's the most common use of it. But on some cases, especially with like Poe, you can do that as well. But I think this is a lot more fair, honestly. So,
all right.
I'll cover the next one because this is the one that makes me cry, and it'll make Greg happy because the Scum player is crying. Contraband can no longer be recovered. So cry Jabba the Hutt lists. Cry anything. Although I will say this kind of negates Cutthroat's capability, because most of the time that's what Cutthroat was used for, was to recharge contraband.
Oh no!
Gotta do it for Overtune now, man. That's it.
Hey, look, I am down for running Rookcast with Overtuned and being able to recharge
you know what's
my
weird
Overtune.
Is yet again, this is definitely a different rule book, because in the rule book I had, right under there, it says, "Hey, Velvet Buddha."
Yes.
All right, that's fair. So I don't know. I'm disappointed in this one, just because I liked running Contraband and Jabba together. But
do you think that for future updates that they will drop Contraband down to 2 points now because it's a one-timer?
I would assume so. I mean,
I would
it's
hope
still
it goes
strong,
to 1 point.
even at 1 point. I mean, even at its
It's
core
still
ability
pretty
before
strong.
Jabba became a thing in 2.5. In all of 2.0, like, Contraband was still a strong upgrade, even being the one-time use, because being able to 5K, be stressed, and then do another 5K or a 4K or whatever on the ship, and still being able to take actions, like, it's really strong.
Yeah. I'm a little sad. I understand why they did it, though. I like that little mechanic, just for my fun. Yeah, my fun. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
You gotta have something scummy. I can't have scum become non-scum. Otherwise, it's pointless to have that faction.
There's plenty of scum.
It just becomes villainy.
You can still Jabba false transponder codes. Like, you can still Jabba a whole bunch of fun. Just not Contraband. Which is
if scum loses scum, it just becomes villainy. Okay, that's it. It's just fun.
Yeah, and at that point, anyway.
Yeah, then we're the Empire.
Yep,
exactly.
But maybe
with better ships.
Better ships. I was to say maybe with a little bit better options. All right, next last.
Technically, 1.0. Most of what we currently call scum flew under the Empire banner, and by that I mean the fire spray was Empire only before the Scum and Villainy faction was released. So I guess that fits.
Right.
All right. The last one is Ursa Wren.
Yes. So I'll read this one here. Ursa Wren, the crew, and I believe this is specifically for the rebels. It reads, you can maintain up to 2 locks. Each lock must be on a different object. After a friendly ship at range 0 to 3 is locked by an enemy ship, you may perform a lock action. This was a very, very big change for Ursa Wren, because before I used to work on anybody's lock. So what I used to see this on usually would be like Chewie on the Falcon, or on U-Wings for the Rebels, where they would just have like an R3 astromech just target lock enemy, and then target lock the ship that has Ursa Wren, and then they would get a lock onto that ship, and you basically generate locks for everybody. Greg like decimated me once with this.
Just
now
once,
with this
though.
nerf,
Just once. This is the only time Greg ever played a ship accurately.
Yeah. Well, what you guys didn't see, again, you have the wrong rule book, is that under this, they were like, hey, Greg.
Yes, exactly. So this
I
makes
need a
it
copy
a lot
of
more
Greg's
fair.
rule book, because there's a lot of visuals in that, and I learn better through pictures than I do through words.
All right, Greg, you have a new task. We need
the
need
first
a
thing
book.
you said tonight that I believe. Listen. All I'm going to say about this change, it's fine. Whatever. This is a brand new card that they are errataing. You will never convince me these cards are tested. You can't convince me that any of these are tested. They're errataing and banning cards that are a month old. It's insanity.
I know pre 2.0 there was testing, because I was one of the testers, and we did a lot of testing pre AMG takeover. But after that, I don't know. They say there's testers, but I've never seen me and a tester in the same room together, so I can't confirm whether testers exist or not.
I think here,
if there are testers, they're doing a terrible job. And if it's one of you in the crowd, I want you to look me in the eye right now. Either do better or make them listen to you. I don't know which it is, because we can't have every new card being errated. There are so many erratas right now. It's frankly unacceptable. And I'm going to be pissed when I have to spend $20 to buy an errata card pack.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna pipe in here a minute, because I'm not in the same boat as Greg in that aspect, right?
No one is.
No.
Greg is an island unto himself.
Fair enough. So in my past Destiny days, right, we had the last set one of the last sets that came out, the second to last one that came out, had droids. Ironically enough, not like bad droids, like separatist droids, but R2D2, C3PO, and Chopper. And it literally, like, they had Gen Con, and somebody went and they found out how broken all of that was. And they've errated R2D2 and C3PO before they canceled the damn game. They errated them, I don't know, like 3 times, and changed their points because of the interactions and how strong they were.
What game was that again?
Star Wars Destiny.
Okay, so it's Star Wars Destiny. And what happened to that game?
Well, they canceled it, but that's for different reasons.
Correct.
But that was FFG.
That was FFG. If it had been in AMG's hands,
so what you're saying is they released cards. They released a bunch of broken cards. None of it worked. They changed it all, and now the game doesn't exist anymore.
No, the game doesn't exist because of the cost factor to it. That's why.
But what you're saying is,
no, it's the cost factor.
Released cards that didn't work.
No, they did not.
Errated the crap out of them, and then the game doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. It's the same thing that you're experiencing here. The difference before is that FFG didn't. No. Hold on. FFG did not go through. There was broken things when I started playing X-Wing, and there was broken things like before. It's not any of a different thing. By the way, this card was built by FFG, not AMG. Just as an FYI, this is an FFG product right here for a fact.
Yeah.
So the difference is they didn't have the balls or didn't have the ability to make the change. One of the two. So they either didn't have have the ability to change it or didn't feel the need to change it because the playtesters had said, "Oh, this was a good card." And that's what happens when you don't pay playtester.
This R2 and C-3PO, was it good that it was errata?
Yeah, because in fairness, it became a somewhat broken mechanic. Is what happened. But it was because the other card pools. It was not as much them as some of the other card pools.
I mean, the other part of it, Greg, too, is one of the things that's very similar to this on how they did that is, my gosh, the Jumpmaster Dengar. The original pilot, when he originally came out for 1.0, he must have been errated at least 5 times because his ship was just
there was
so broken.
one major errata that happened in 1.0 where they took the missile slots or the torpedo slots off of the Jumpmaster. They got rid of a Tawny Mine Link. They did. There was the day the Jumpmaster died, like 3 upgrades that only came with the Jumpmaster were no longer used by the Jumpmaster any longer because it was terrible.
And can someone remind me what happened to 1.0?
It became 2.0. It evolved.
Yeah, but it was like a year and a half later when that happened.
So we're on the clock now, okay?
Yes, we're on the clock. Yes,
we're on the clock now. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Let's move on to scenarios. We have some scenario changes that have happened. So who wants the first one? Which one is Greg excited about?
Scramble.
Salvage.
Whichever one it is, don't let him read that one.
Right.
No.
I'll do Assault at the Solid Array. So this one here, the only change that they did to this particular scenario is the timing of the scoring. You can now only score starting at the end of the second round, where you actually count up objectives and gain points according to whatever you scored on that particular round for it. So this makes the this artificially increases the length of the game, but it also
by
gives
one turn.
Yeah, exactly, by one turn. But that still gives you it. You no longer have to Yorktown joust everybody in round 1 to go rush to the center to try to grab as much objectives as possible. You now can actually set yourself up to react to your enemy's deployment on that first turn and probably have a better attack the second time around and go that way. So yeah,
I still think people are going to Yorktown because one turn isn't exactly enough to clear across a whole board. But I don't know. Maybe someone will come up with something clever.
Yeah.
And I think here, so I think, and there was a piece that you didn't include in here, JJ, where they also highlighted the blue points first, the 20 points wins. Like, I don't understand that reason for it. I don't know if that's a mistake on their behalf, but it's in every scenario.
Yeah, it seems to me that they're playing around with the points, but ultimately, maybe they just didn't have enough data to.
I would think the only thing that I can see on that maybe is, and maybe we were playing it wrong. I don't know, but in the way we had been playing is if you hit 20 in the middle of a combat phase, like say I destroy your ship, JJ, and that puts me at 20 points, we still finish that round out. So this just might be if I hit 20, game ends. There's no let's continue out. Let's do the points at the end, and maybe we both hit 20. No, because I hit 20 first, we're done.
If you pull the,
I think it says at the end of the round.
Yeah,
it says at the end. Yeah.
Okay, well then there goes my theory.
Yeah, so it's a mystery to all of us. But so okay, for a second before we get into the next scenario change, right? The adjustment of starting on the second round, like I actually really like this piece because I think it's going to help extend the game, and it allows me to go back to spending more time positioning my ships rather than just diving in. It also makes us have to go back and redo this effing scenario because I no longer want to place the obstacles at range 1 or 2 of my board edge because for fuck's sake, like now I have to. How am I going to get a ship to go one bank unless it's like a shit ship? You know, like it's just or a rebel ship. If it's a rebel ship, you know, whatever, they don't care.
You just said the same thing twice. You said shit ship and rebel ship in the same sentence.
All right,
Why
fair
don't you double yourself up and say the same thing twice?
All right, fair enough. I was trying to be sneaky about that, but no.
Fucking B-wings, piece of shit.
So some of me says like this, like I like this change. I really do. I like the fact that I can set up now, but at the same token, it's going to make objective placement a lot different. I don't know how that's going to play out yet, I guess. So.
Yeah. So going on to chance engagement here, they did put an errata on the scoring portion. Also adding in the second round at the start of the end phase scoring there for if you contest the objective and you're the only one there, you gain a mission point there. Now, they also added if only one player is contesting the satellite, you score one additional mission point. So it sounds to me now, based on this, is that as long as you have a ship on there, both players, if they both have a ship at the range of that center point, they're both scoring a point at the end of chance engagement. So I think this actually speeds up the game a little bit more, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I don't see what you see.
Well, you should. If you have a ship within 0 to 2 of that middle objective, you get a point. If you're the only one, you get 2.
Yeah.
You okay, Chris?
I guess.
Can you see the rage building in him?
No, it's not rage. It's a confusion piece here. I guess I'm confused by that piece because I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah. So you're still only starting to score at the end of the second round, right? And as long as you have a ship in that bubble of the center of that objective, you're going to score a point no matter what. And if you own the only person, you're going to score 2 points there. So they're really pushing to have ships engage in that center just to prevent the other person from scoring 2 points a round in chance engagement. So.
All right, so that's just weird, but okay, that's cool. So now I get 2 points for being at center, and 1 point no matter what if I'm at center. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
but not round one.
Not round one. Yeah,
not round one.
Not round one yet. Scurvy cur.
Yes.
All right, salvage mission is the next one. All right, so the difference here is the scoring at second round, right? Which I think is on everyone now. They also say ships can use this scenario action to interact with those scenario features starting on the second round. So again, that seems really silly.
You can't pick them up on the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I guess to me, you wouldn't. Okay, I guess that's fair. I guess you have to clarify that. That just seems silly.
Yeah.
I would never pick a crate up if I wasn't going to be able to do anything with it. But there's that. Then it says after the ship performs a tow action, it removes any cloak tokens it has. So it's now specifying saying you can no longer be cloaked and have it because they consider that an issue. They are also saying you cannot perform barrel rolls, boost actions, cloak actions, slam actions, or even gain cloak tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So you can basically just fly your ship. That's it. So they're making it harder once you pick up that crate.
But they
again,
removed...
you're thinking about it as a tow action. You're not pulling the cargo onto your ship. You're dragging it behind you. So if you cloaked your ship and you're dragging a huge-ass canister or something behind you, you're not exactly cloaked. They just got to look at where the cord stops and where it keeps moving from.
The biggest change to this, though, is that they've removed the restrictions for advanced maneuvers. So now you can do stops, you can do K-turns, you can do sloops. Those are now back on the table for that ship that's carrying the cargo.
It's all the Freemasons.
Yeah, so it's just, I guess it's weird. Why would I'm confused about the change. Like, to me, it says like the cloaking piece I get, right? Like I understand that piece. I don't think that's I don't actually have a problem with that. But now I can't do a barrel roll or a boost action with it. So I'm no longer maneuverable. But I can do advanced maneuvers. So, you can't perform a re-maneuvering position, which is less stressful or less issued than an actual advanced maneuver. But now I can't do an advanced maneuver. I don't know.
Well,
I don't like the change personally.
What I would like to see is in this particular scenario or situation, I would love the ability to choose to drop the cargo to do your advanced maneuver or to do your boost or to do your barrel roll. Like instead of if I pick this up, my ship is dead in the water until I get crit and have to drop it anyway, but allow it to be my choice. If I want to continue to carry it around the board, great. But if there's some point where it is more beneficial to me to be able to boost or barrel roll, I can choose to give up that scenario point to make my ship instantly more maneuverable.
I think you can.
Yeah, but it's at the end of the activation. So you
Okay.
even if you do decide to drop it, you still are past the point where you can take actions. So yeah.
Correct. I think that there should be like before you reveal your dial, choose to either hold on to the toe or let it go.
Yeah, that rhymes.
I was not intentional, but as soon as it was out of my mouth, I was like, "Hey, let's go with it."
So am I the only one that doesn't really like these changes? I guess.
I have to try it out. I do have
fly
to try
big
it
base
out.
ships. I can't boost or barrel roll anyway. So what the fuck does this change
All right,
for
well,
me?
fine.
Yeah. My B wings would not.
Oh
be
no,
happy
I
with that.
can't boost my YV666. Whatever am I going to do?
My B wings can't afterburners, and they can't barrel roll focus or barrel roll target lock. So, yeah.
Well, they can
You
do
can't
red
trajectory
maneuvers
sim
now,
anyway.
and
You're
you
not
can
going to
get
run
coordinated
B-wings
now,
anymore anyway.
which is nice.
Yeah. That's true.
It's a bit of a trade-off. I don't have any strong opinions on it. I haven't played it yet under the new thing, so I don't know. We'll see.
And then nothing happened in Scramble Transmission, so we'll skip that.
Yeah, just skip scramble.
All right,
Go ahead,
Greg. It's your baby here.
Go ahead, Greg. Shine like a diamond. Be a
All right.
peacock.
So the first thing is take your 5 satellites, take 2 of them, stick them sideways, and shove them straight up your candy ass because we don't need them anymore. 3 satellites only. You basically place them in your opponent's board edge, range 2 to 4. Once they've been placed, blah, 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 starting second round, scoring, yada, yada. Ships can use these scenario action to interact with these scenarios, features starting second round, blah, 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 blah. When a ship performs a scramble action, it chooses a satellite at range 0 to 1 and place one of your player markers on the chosen satellite. If the chosen satellite has another player's marker, remove it before placing your own. If there's no satellite in range, the action fails. We are not rolling to flip satellites anymore. If you claim, you claim. It's yours. It ain't gonna clear. It just flips. And there's only 3 available points. And man, did that make a world of difference in the game I played. I still lost because of objectives, but it felt much better.
What the game was much closer, you felt, right?
Yes, it came down. It had a beginning, a middle, and end. The game was lengthy, 9 turns. His objective points really put my inability to get the objectives, I should say, and his objective points really put the strain on me to do. It was like a race against the clock to do damage, and it came down to the last shot. And I was flying Vader Defender with some ties, so I got those 3 hits, but E-Wing evaded. What are you gonna do?
Fucking rebels.
Fucking rebels. Just needed 1 damage. 1 blank was all I needed.
So I agree with you, Greg. I actually think this is the best scenario change that we've seen.
Yep, please do this for all of them.
Yeah. Like the amount of
half points.
Well, that's next.
We don't need half points if they do this shit. I'm happy with that.
I disagree wholeheartedly because not having half points makes ships that have more health more valuable.
I mean, yeah, that's why they cost more.
Well, no, what I'm saying, okay, so like for instance, if I have the option of flying like a big base ship like the Falcon versus a B-wing, and they both have the same amount of hit points, or at least in the same range of hit points, but the B-wing has a much smaller footprint for shooting, I'm going to take a B-wing every single time because they're harder to hit. And there's no half points. It's back to 1.0. Rebels are stronger in 1.0 because there was no half points on anything that wasn't a big base ship. The half points will make the games more balanced, my personal opinion. Because if half points
Yeah.
were a thing, Chris's Kyber Cup game would have gone completely different than the way it went.
Yeah, but like I think the whole point is now that they're giving you time to burn down these big ships where you didn't have the time to do it before.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Scramble was like one of the fastest ones, right? According to the data they had from the stuff
yeah,
that
you just
compiled.
like assault's the fastest because you don't even have to do anything, you just score points. But like Scramble was like it was like a set and forget, you know. You did it once and then you were getting points every turn. But now I don't know. I just think you get a lot more time to burn down ships. And like rebels are certainly good. I'm not saying they're not good, but you know, you take a Falcon, that's 8 points. You're, you know,
but if I can score 4 points and only have to kill half the Falcon, then that frees me up to do a little bit more than having to spend 3 rounds.
I kind of agree with
kill a
Charles
ship.
on this. I'm more in favor of moving back to half points in scenarios.
Because here's the thing, Greg, right? Just realistically speaking.
But that's gonna take the game down again. That's going to we're trying to increase the length of the game, and then you guys are like, well, let's do this thing. That makes it a 4-round game again.
Yeah, if they had increased the overall points to win the game, then at that point I would say, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and increase or add on half points so that way there's a balance to it. But the games were ending at round 4 and round 5 for the most part for this particular objective, because you're constantly just, as long as nobody contests that objective point, you're going to be scoring 2 to 3 points a turn. And that's basically like one of the small ships every turn, right? Without you having to do anything. And, you know, adding half points is basically making up for that difference a little bit. So if they, you know, kept the goal a little more further, then yeah, half points, I'm all for that. But in this particular objective, I don't think half points is the way to go yet until they adjust the end goal for points. That's my opinion on that. So
I agree. Right. If it was like a 30-point to win, then my opinion, I think, changes.
Yeah.
All right. So we had some new additions to the ban list. 2 that make me insanely happy.
Is it okay? Let me guess. Okay, trajectory simulator, easy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right, that one. Gosh, I'm gonna say Sloan because that's the one I hate the most.
No.
But,
oh my gosh, Sloan. Jeez.
No.
Fuck
no.
Sloan.
Actually,
I'm so glad Sloan's out of here. Get the fuck out.
I don't. All right. I disagree on that one, but like I'm not really that. I don't really have that strong of opinion on Sloan. It is. I am extremely in favor of auto blasters, personally. Like,
all you wusses, you.
And they made it 7 points for extended.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
7-point cannon now.
Yeah, I think that's
cowards. All of you cowards.
So
for the record, I loved auto blasters, but
yeah. I like how this is like the most fragile. Like first it was me and JJ, and now it's gonna be me and Charles forever. Like,
so let's go down the list, right? So we did say Sloan. The other one that we had here was auto blasters as well. Commander Pyre Crew for the FO. That it was like a staple for basically every single FO list that I've seen on stream. Just getting that double stress out early for scenario play was huge in a lot of different scenarios, but he's now banned. Whole Upgrade was the other one that was a little bit of a head scratcher.
So hold on, can we go back to prior? Like I'm a little confused why if we moved scenarios to 2 turns, prior becomes like insanely less oppressive. Like,
yeah, I have no idea why Pyre's on there, and also. Just to hammer this point home, that's a pretty new card. It's not like as new as some of the others, but it's pretty new.
When did that come out? Jeez, was it last year?
Yeah.
I think it came out with the G.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused if we're moving to the you can't score till second round. I'm a little confused why prior God, I don't get it, because if I'm going to prior you can't fucking take an action until the second turn anyway. So what does it matter? I don't know. I see that as that I see that one as a pointless thing. Sorry, you can go on with your rant, but that was my 2 cents.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Pyre doesn't make much sense to me, to be honest. It wasn't an issue. Hull upgrade, I absolutely agree with. Everyone was spamming it with the loadout values. Fuck it. I was more hoping they would make it large bases only, but I'm fine with them banning it. R2 and R5, basically, again, this must be like a document or something, because in the official ban list, when it said R2 and R5, it said Dear Nicholas Sperry.
Yeah, I'm confused on the R2 and R5 as well. Like, I don't think they were prominent enough.
There weren't enough rounds to actually use them.
Well, not only that, but with no half points, there was no need for them anymore.
Yeah,
and since you couldn't got even in chance, you can't get that half points back. Also, like, R5 is pretty much only used on Luke and Cass. So like you ban thing that's only used on 2 ships.
Yeah.
I didn't see it like spammed anywhere. Like, really, I mean, it was
literally. I think Nick might be the only person still running regen.
Yeah,
and I get why they want to get rid of regen. Like, I understand the logic behind, especially saying, hey,
they don't want regen.
We don't want you to have a hull upgrade anymore. You can't have regen. Fine, it is what it is. I think it's silly, but fine. Go ahead and do it if that's what you're gonna do. Merry fucking Christmas. I'm happy Trajectory Simulator got banned. I am over the moon that it got banned. And I say they should bring it back and give it to one ship only. They should make it its own category. Give me my fucking TIE bomber, because that's the only goddamn ship in the game or in the Star Wars universe that I know of that throws bombs. Period.
Nim does. Just saying, Nim does.
You mean Nim? Captain Nim?
Yeah. Right? Nim.
Yeah, Captain Nim.
I don't even know if I care about Trajectory Simulator being banned. I just didn't want it on B-Wings anymore. It was too good on B-Wings.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you could be like Trajectory Simulator sensor slot, not a B-Wing. I don't know if you can do like non-ships, like instead of like requirements.
I know you don't agree with it, Greg, but I mean, they could have eroded the card to say, ship class only.
To say what?
You know, a particular ship class only. You know, like TIE bomber only or something like that. You know.
Yeah, or
medium or large base ship only.
Yeah,
banning it is fine. I again don't. It's like nitpicking at this point. The only one I really disagree with is auto blasters. I think people are just being a bunch of bitches about that.
Yeah.
Nah.
And then Sabine Wren Crew is the other one on Rebel that was also banned, and that's the one for people who don't know is the status effect card. Basically, if your ship gets hit by a bomb, Sabine can add a token. It would be either a stress, ion, a jam, or a tractor onto the ship that suffered the effects of that bomb. As a person who ran that very exclusively very recently, I could tell you it is a very strong ability, and it's been banned. And I could say, because I said this from the beginning when I ran it, is that I ran that oppressive list from the beginning so it could be banned from the beginning, because it was way too good in my opinion. Am I sad that it's gone from the B-Wings and the Rebels? Yeah, sure, but it's a negative play experience, and I'll call it straight up as it is. It was definitely a negative play experience for a lot of people. So, yeah.
Again, I think there's a difference between banning things and then strategically making the points very high on them. I think Sabine was a candidate to be points way up instead of straight up banned, so people who liked it could still play it, but it didn't make a lot of sense to. Whereas Sloane, for instance, I don't care how many points she is, get her the fuck out of this game.
Yeah, she was very, very good. No matter what point.
Want to talk about negative play experience? I destroyed one of your ship and I'm immediately punished. Mm-hmm. Fuck that.
For two turns or more.
And Tio Marshall in your chat, which you should pay attention to every once in a while. Come on, guy. No, he says without Trajectory, Sabine Crew would I think he's trying to say without Trajectory Simulator, would Sabine Crew still be a monster?
Yes.
No. I don't agree with you on that.
Okay, so all right. So with skilled bombardier, which can be added to actually, I'm sorry. Let me rethink that, because only Hera can carry skilled bombardier. Technically,
Judge
yes.
Greg is not
Because
presiding.
you can actually still equip seismics. You can get out of the range of a seismic bomb itself exploding and still do that, and you can choose which ship is going to take whichever one you do. So you can either try to avoid the seismic bomb itself to avoid Sabine, or you can take the damage from the rock that explodes. And you don't even need to explode a rock to suffer the effects of it. As long as you're within that blast radius of the seismic charge, you're still going to suffer the effects of Sabine. So it's still pretty good, especially on the cheaper Y-Wings that are available for the Rebels or for Scum, or even for the Resistance, which they get a buff there with their points. I still think that those bombs are still very good, particularly in Rebels. B-Wings still have their payloads that can still drop those bombs, and as long as you have a good Sabine carrier, I know I ran it with AP5. You can run it with Ezra, who only has 6 points now, so he can't be a Leia carrier, but he will be a great candidate for Sabine, and still be really effective with bombs as control.
All right.
Which brings me back to, you just raise her points and then it gets much
Yeah.
easier.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm more at. All right, do we want to do upgrade points or ship points first?
Let's do ships. I want to do the ships.
Oh God, we haven't. This is gonna be. Hope you guys are in for the long haul podcast. It's gonna be a minute.
We'll go for like the hot takes, like the important ships.
All right, can I say one thing before we get started about the basic ship philosophy design? Also, is that a Romulan warbird with lambda shuttles?
Oh, on the back screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
So something they did here was they basically made chassis worth a base amount of points, and I hate it. Just hate it, especially when we get to X-Wings. Especially Resistance X-Wings. I hate it. I hate it. Judge Greg hates it.
I was going to say, I love how Greg got out the mallet already.
He doesn't even have anything to drink.
Objection, hearsay.
Foundation. Sustained.
Somebody get Greg a drink. He needs to calm down. Maybe you need to come to Michigan, bro.
He's fine.
Full facts. Do it.
I drank too much this weekend.
You didn't drink when we were together. Anyway. All right. So I guess we're starting with Imperial because that's the first one. I'll be honest, I'm going to care a lot less about something that's not in standard right now.
Yeah, we'll skip all extended ships right now. We're going to go straight to standard.
Okay.
That's yeah.
I just see it as a pointless thing. So the first notable difference is Gar Saxon went down to 18 loadout points. But I think that's because they did that to gauntlets all across the board.
Yeah.
I think, what was he at, 24 or something like that?
Yeah, he was at 24 points there. Going down over to Seven Sister, getting a bump in her points, going up to 14 points. That was very good. And then also the Baron of the Empire. I think they went from 2 points to 4 points. Yeah.
Boo, who cares? That was it's always give me some actual points on my Baron of the Empire. I only care about Seven Sister. 14 loadout points. Holy shit, man. I can take out maneuver now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But you're not going to take that with Seven Sister, but
yeah. Darth Vader in the TIE X1, he went down in points, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was 24.
Mm-hmm.
And his base cost also went down as well. He's now a 7-point ship. And they gave him a talent slot on top of that for his loadout. So he has 2 force slots and a talent slot.
Yes, I love it. I cannot wait to put it on the table.
Marco Still.
They also raised all the X1s to a base cost of 4. So we won't be seeing that 6 X1 spam anymore.
I agree with you on that too. I actually kind of like that. I don't think we should be able to spam those.
Yeah.
Though, hey Greg, we could almost make the argument that who cares because you can't put Hall of Grade on them anymore, which is what everybody was doing.
My argument here is, how on earth is the Tempest Squadron worth the same as a Storm Squadron, considering the Storm Squadron gets a talent slot, different initiative, etc., different loadout points, And how is that worth the same as Zyrtec Strom, who has an actual pilot ability, missiles, etc.? It makes no sense.
I've been saying
It
this about the
makes
fangs
no
since the
sense.
transition of the points. I've been saying this about the fangs. There's like 3 or 4 different fangs that are all 5 points, regardless of initiative, pilot ability, whatever. They are all 5 points, and it makes no sense why the I1 is the same as the I3 is the same as a pilot with an ability. There's just no rhyme or reason to it.
There's just no granularity that in the with the 20-point restriction. They just this is what we're going to see from now on until they change the amount of points you can put into a list. I'll be glad that they go back to 100 because at least you have some granularity. You know, that's the old 1.0 like thing that we had. But honestly, we're going to run through these issues constantly at this level of points. So.
I don't think they have nearly the same amount of complaints if they kept it at 200, but did like a separate loadout value. If they did like this loadout value thing, but kept the amount of granularity they had, or like JJ said, 100, I don't think people are complaining nearly as much.
Yeah.
All right. Captain Faroff went down to 4, and I have no idea what the Scarif was before because nobody ran that.
He was 5 points. So the one thing that we kind of glazed over really quick, Vizier got his points up from 8 points to 12 points. So he can actually now carry Palpatine on the Reaper, which is pretty big, especially now with the changes to the ailerons, where they can choose whether or not they want to boost. And for him, he technically usually wants to do the boost always because it would be a white coordinate for Vizier. But now having the ability to do that pre-maneuver boost to give out a coordinate action and then also have Palp to support another ship with that force, that's actually a really good support ship for the Empire.
All right, that's fair. Let's move down to defenders. Captain Dobbs had his loadout points go up to 15. Nobody cares. Nobody will ever run that ship ever at 7 points.
And again, why is Dobbs the same as Ryad, the same as Rexler, the same as Vault, the same as a Delta, the same as an Onyx?
Greg.
What is going on?
Okay, in this case, the reason is they don't want to lower it lower than 7 because you can run 3 fucking defenders, and somebody told them that you can't have that happen. I don't think those guys were around for that. I wasn't.
Neither were you.
No, I know. I'm just telling you my theory. That's what I'm saying. It's like my theory would be I agree. Lower the cocksucker down to 6.
Triple defenders.
Three defenders wouldn't scare me in an objective-based game.
I agree.
Engagement, it 100% would.
Okay.
Objectives, when.
Let me run 3 defenders.
There was a difference, though, because before it used to be 3 defenders with no loadout, with nothing. It was just the base chassis. Now we're talking about 3 defenders with toys. There's a big difference there, and I don't think that.
All right, JJ,
that would be good.
Wednesday, we're going to run this. I'm going to get 3 defenders. You're going to give me that. I'm going to get I'll take Captain Dobbs as a 6-pointer.
We'll stand by there because I got to talk to you about that in a little bit. Off camera, though. So.
All right,
but that is a
on camera. Do the business.
You have frightened him so much, he's backing out of Wednesday off camera.
Well, and I got to talk to you too. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. So anyway.
Okay. But anyway, so defenders went down in cost over the board for the most part, with Vader being the biggest change at going down to 9.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, I already have 4 lists built with Vader, and I'm 100%. If you're a local listening to this, I'm running this shit. It's going to happen. I love Vader Defender. It's like one of my favorite ships to fly.
If I'm not mistaken, the only change to his bar was the adding of the talent slot, right?
Yeah. They gave him a talent slot now. Like, okay, hey, now I can run Juke.
Which I immediately put on Juke, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, there you go.
Juke Malice, right?
Yep,
yeah, you can fit it.
Yeah.
I did Juke. I did Vader Defender with Juke and Malice. And I think he also had cluster missiles with 2 Jingoist Moff Gideon and the I-5 interceptor.
My goodness.
I'm excited. I'm insanely excited by this just for that. So
Catherine
look
says,
out,
especially
everyone.
since Juke went down for some reason. Juke has been changed more times than any other card in the history of this game.
Yeah.
Every points update, they're like, where does Juke go? No one knows.
Yeah.
All right, for the interceptors, again, we're gonna skip. I don't care about loadout point changes to some extent unless they're really big. But the alphas went up to 4 points, and again, now I have a saber and an alpha to the point we made before. Whatever. I mean, it's just again dumb. It's dumb.
Yeah.
I'll never take an alpha ever in my whole life over a saber. Just I won't do it.
Yeah. And then going to the next big change, which was the TIE fighters, they got a big reduction across the board for a lot of the named pilots there as well. And they also gave loadout points to a lot of them as well to carry more stuff. Night Beast went up a point, going from 2 points to 3 points, but now has a 4-point loadout value. He has double talent slot. He's still a really solid choice at 3 points, getting that free focus and still being able to take a scenario action for something. Adding those 2 talents there, I think would make him really, really good. And just like Greg said earlier, the Jingoist coming down to 2 points, that is huge for them. And they also have an illicit slot that they can equip there. What illicits will you guys put on this? For me, it was contraband, but I don't know. Do you guys have any other?
I put contraband on it. You could put Dead Man's Switch. Dead Man's might have gone up to 4, but
2.
I ran contraband.
Yeah.
It's just such a good card.
The other pilot that I liked a lot is Moff Gideon at 3 points with 8 loadout points. So you can equip him with contraband or Dead Man Switch, and actually Dead Man Switch I will put on this case just because you can add on Notorious as the talent slot at that point to give out the strain, and then get the reroll, and then cluster missiles, which would be really good on Gideon.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
just to piss Greg off.
Yeah.
So that's a brand new card. And they're fucking with the points to make it playable. What the hell? Like, why is AMG doing this? This is stupid. Like, you should never errata a card. That's what they're doing. They're doing the same thing here.
They didn't errata.
They're making it playable.
What are you talking about? This is completely different. That's not even close to the same point.
Yes, it is.
When you were thinking about this in your head, were you like, oh, this is the same thing? And you were like,
it is the same thing. It's a points thing.
It's not the same thing.
They came out with an original point set and said, oh, it's not playable. Therefore, I'm going to errata it to give it points.
That's insane. I don't need a new card for the points.
So your only point is the fact that you have to buy a fucking card. Oh, no, you have to buy a new fucking card. Oh, get the fuck over it. There we go. We're gonna go. Get the fuck over it.
If I'm a new person and I buy a fucking card, and then I show up to a place and someone is like, that's not the card.
Wait, so it's like, 1.0 all over again? Oh, come on.
What the fuck is... Yeah, 1.0 sucked. When is everyone going to realize that 1.0 was awful?
I'm going to
comparing things to 1.0 is not
I did some guest commentary a while back on a stream, and there was a gentleman who I shall not name that was doing co-hosting with me. And he mentioned that people talk about 1.0 the same way that Nom vets talk about being in Nom. I'm not going to say who that person was. But,
I don't know who. I don't know. But whoever that is A, brave, B, correct, and C, extremely good looking.
Not with that hat, he isn't. All right,
was it Will Haywood?
No, we're moving on. Moving on.
Right.
The RB heavy went up. Latrin D went up to 5 points. Again, I don't care. Whatever. That's a stupid change, in my opinion. Yeah, but whatever. And
so quick thing on him. I know you went up from 4 points to 5 points. Would you consider still running him over? Over her. Would you consider running her over Howl Runner?
Honestly, no. Like. I don't know because I find that she burns down faster than Howl Burner does. How about that?
Okay.
Howl Runner.
Fair.
Sorry.
Fair. Okay.
Her ability also triggers more. It's a toss up for me.
Yeah. I would. I do not. And again, I guess I would have to take the same list and see. It would have to depend on the list. The problem is with those interceptors going up to 4 points, it changes. Now the cheap ship that I'm going to take is going to be TIE fighters, and it's going to be like a TIE swarm, which is sad because
to waste their time shooting at my heavy. I'm like, thank you for wasting this turn. You enjoy.
I don't know. I found that.
Especially now that the config is free, like the targeting config is free. Amen, bro.
It's that targeting. The upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, for the calculates when you engage.
Yeah. That's nice. That should have been free the whole time.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So the TIE Striker countdown. I think didn't we already talk about that? Countdown went down to 4 points.
Yep.
And then we have the Decimators, which is the next big change in Imperial. Decimators going down to 7, 7, 8, and 7. And with the ban of Sloane, that's probably a fair thing to do.
Yeah, because now you can load them out with a lot of Force crew and still be really good. I would actually consider doing like a Defender Vader, Shiranu, and another 3-point filler just to try to test that out. Could be good.
Yeah, I would do Defender Vader, pick your Decimator, and then give me some TIE fighters to make that a 5 shipper.
Oh,
Let's go.
Yeah.
2 Jingoists and take your pick of a 2-pointer.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So my precious rebels got a little bit of a hit here. Gina is now 5 points, which she should have been for the beginning.
Fuck you, Gina.
I don't agree with Netrum being 5 points, but they did bump up the amount of loadout.
Like I said, all they did was they made chassis values. There's no reason that Netrum and Braylon Stram should be the same points.
Yeah, exactly.
They're wildly different ships with wildly different abilities to hit you.
Yeah.
And with Braylon's worth a million times more than
Braylon should be 20
Netrum.
And
just ban them. Fucking ban them. Ban. Done.
With Sync Laser Cannon going up to 8 points, you're not having much to add on to these B-Wings anymore. And they can't Afterburners also jumping up to 10 points. They can't do that 4 straight boost anymore with Leia. So yeah, they're going to see a lot less.
Why the ion changes happen too, because the ion cannon is one of the only cannons you can actually put on these motherfuckers now.
Yeah, that's true.
Istaban and the Arc 170 went up to 5 points. I called it. I agree with that. I say put them up to 5 points. Screw
I think they realized that all these like awesome value ships were ruining everything.
Yep.
Yeah. Dutch Vander got double bomb slots.
I'm excited by that. That's cool. Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah. Bomblet generator or for like a cheap bomb, or you can do like clusters and counter nets. Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah. I think this is really, 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 you could do electro proton bomb and still have an extra bomb slot. Like, for Dutch, I think this is a good. I think this is where we go. Hey, somebody's changing something for the positive, because it makes me want to play Dutch again. Before, I was only somewhat interested in Dutch. This actually makes Dutch like 100% more. Like, I don't even understand any of these other pilots. Like, screw them. Just give me Dutch.
Yeah. Going down to the Fang Fighter, Bodica Venge down 1 point, now at 5, and only 6 loadout points though. But still, at least you can fit that in a 4-ship list.
Can I ask why we don't just lower Fenrau to 6 points or for 5 points too? Like, just let me have,
because he's the best version of Fenrau, so that's why they can't do
that. Fuck you and your 1990s NSYNC haircut. Get the shit out of here.
They're not frosted, man. It is not frosted, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, at least you didn't put ice in your scotch tonight, so.
He's not drinking scotch. He's drinking root beer, for Christ's sake.
Which you're allowed to put ice in, just not scotch. I don't know. To me, just, I say they're not being played. Let me have Fenrau in Rebels at 5. And I probably will regret saying that, because at some point it'll be used against me. Somebody's going to go like, here, let me find a good list that's going to screw you over. But I don't know. The next big changes, they didn't change any of the gauntlets, which is probably good. And I'm sad they didn't change the Hawks because really, like Kyle Katarn at 6 is just fucking ridiculously stupid. They just basically said, hey, we're not going to let you run a Hawk anymore. Or if you do, it's going to be like more than 25% of your list. Dumb.
Yeah.
They put Han Solo and Lando at 8 points.
Yeah, to match with Leia. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Leia got a huge bump on her points too. She's up to 24.
Yeah. And I think that's an
someone
interesting
please fire.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting because again, I look at all those like abilities and I almost take Leia, I think, over all of them.
Yeah, I think so too.
Especially with the bigger loadout point value. I don't know. I'm not a Rebel person, so
I think all the Rebel, except for Chewie, all the Rebel YTs have like really good abilities.
Yeah.
So we see Ahsoka Tano going down to 5 points. I like that. I think that's great. She still has 12 loadout points with Instinctive Aim, which we haven't covered yet, but Instinctive Aim going up, so be it. But I think even at 5 points, I think Ahsoka becomes a staple in all these lists.
Yeah. Absolutely. We see a bump here for Arvel getting 5 points instead of the 3 that she had, I believe. Derek coming up from 2 points to 3 and now gets 6 loadout points and gets a missile slot and a talent slot added on there. I still would consider other A-Wings over him, but if I have to fill out a list, I think I still go Arvel over Derek anytime. Sabine Wren getting 11 points now, which actually gives her the ability to do some good work there. Although she still only has a torpedo slot. She can't use the proton rockets, which were really good on her. But still, at 11 points, she can do some pretty good damage with the APT. So
yeah, and then we see the generics and Shara going up to 4.
Yeah.
Sheathapede, I think the biggest change is AP5, and yep, thank you. Screw you, AP5. You should not have all those loadout points and be 3 points. You can suck it. I hate AP5. There you go. That's it. That's something they should errata. Oh no, you can coordinate stress ship. Fuck that. No, you can't. No. Dumb.
Fenn Rao at 4 points on the sheet to beat. I still don't think you'll see any play whatsoever.
Charles, would you take Fenn Rao now?
No,
I mean, it's cheaper.
Fenn Rao and the Sheathapede is garbage. Always has been, always will be.
Remember when you took him that one time? I remember.
At the tournament? That was terrible. Yeah,
I remember that.
Remembers.
I remember.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yeah, I don't know. And yep, Catherine makes a good point. It's an I6 coordinate though. So now that AP5 is actually 4 points, I don't know. I don't know. I don't run the Rebels, so I don't know what to tell you. Jack goes to 5 points. They had some loadout points change on the T70. Again, I'm not whatever. I don't care. Luke goes up to 6 points, and I'm a little confused by that. And
no, he was 7 and went down to 6.
Yeah.
He was 7?
Yeah, he was 7. Yeah, now he matches Wedge.
Okay. Well, that's good then. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember, Catherine. I remember Ghost 10.
I remember Ghost Fan. Back in the day, we were looking for hits.
And then
crits up in these hills.
Did the Cavern Angel go up to 5, or was that all?
Yeah, it used to be 4 and no loadout.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, none of these. I don't.
Which
anyway.
The
Objection,
other
hearsay.
So here's the thing, right? Cavern Angels were part of the Saul's Renegade packs. Why are the named Renegades more expensive than the generic? Or sorry, why are the generics more expensive than the named Renegades for the
make
the
it
T65s?
make sense?
Yeah,
you can't. You can't make it make sense because it doesn't make sense because they don't know what they're doing sometimes, and pricing X-Wings is absolutely one of those times.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Saw at 5 points. Did he go up then?
He went down. He was at 6 points before. So he's actually really good if you're able to spread damage pretty reliably. Saul Guerrera gives that passive rerolls. So he would be a good candidate, especially at 18 loadout points. You can add a lot of things onto him. So
Then we see the VCX 100s going down to 7 and 8 points. I don't know. I don't know if that's... they still feel a little overcosted. Callus at 7 points is okay. I could see running Callus at 7 points. I don't see Chopper being ran at 7 points or Hera.
Yeah, no. Especially over the Gauntlet version of them, which has a better dial. I mean,
Catherine does point out that Saw does now fit in a quad U-wing list.
Yes, that's actually one of the things I've been testing out, because that.
Do you own 4 U-wings?
I have 2, but I mean, you can always pick up more. Those are easy to find.
Is that what we're going to see you run this summer?
I haven't decided yet. Actually, we have to
4
get new lists
with Trajectory Simulator.
No, we need new lists for Kyber Cup, and if you maintain the same faction, then you get the extended prizes. Scott just posted earlier tonight, so you got to get those lists in by the end of the week of next week.
Yeah.
So
I'm not switching faction. know that, right? Like
oh, no,
I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my list loses Mando optics, but I gain 3 Discord missiles. All right, more power to it. Like my list doesn't really change. I lose counter nets, so
yeah,
I'm not happy about that. Anyway, let's
not
talk about my Kyber list. Lieutenant Blount goes up to 6 or 3.
3 points with 6 loadout. Yeah, so
essentially, Rebels lost all 2-point ships.
Yeah,
which I think is fair. I think they should actually lose all 3-point ships and only have 4-point and higher ships. That's my hot take.
Yeah. Going on to Scum, they get 3 ships that lost 1 point on each of them, which I don't understand why they were that high in the first place. In Ardleys, Gavel, and Lima coming down from 5 and 6 points respectively for each of them. Han Solo, the same cost now as Lando Calrissian, and has more points now. Charles, since you've flown that particular archetype, would you consider using Han over Lando in your list?
What is Scum Han's ability?
If he shoots obstructed, he rolls 1 additional die on attack or defense.
No. Passive mods are king. Being able to use my actions to take objectives and still be able to do things like that. Passive mods are for my list archetype. Passive mods are better than additional dice.
Okay, fair.
And I actually agree with him on that. I don't think moving.
Can someone clip that? Can we get a clip of Chris agreeing with me, please?
I agree with you quite a bit. Fuck off. Fuck on off that shit. I don't know. I think, again, when we talk about Scum and we talk about Han, I think Han just is shit in Scum. Like that whole chassis is just not that great. Lando just happens to be really good because like Charles said, the passive mods, but like I don't care about Han. I shouldn't have to add 20 points of loadout to make Han good. Like that's bullshit.
I will say that I have been really eyeing L337 just because it allows you to run Java. Because L337 gets a second crew slot.
Okay, that's fair. I guess I did not know that. I didn't see that on there.
Yep, all the Falcons have 1 crew slot except for L337, who gets 2.
Oh, Han gets 2 now too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he can carry Jabba. Yep.
I guess
Charles is reconsidering his opinion.
No, I'm not.
No, because with the contraband, like update, like Jabba kind of loses that attractiveness. So yeah.
So Finraw gets a bump for loadout points to 18.
Do you think they did that because of the rise of cost of enduring?
Yes. Okay. I think between enduring and between the afterburners up cost, I think that's a big one right there. And it makes sense. Like if they could keep Finraw the same loadout points, but they'd have to reduce his cost. Really, in my opinion, he's not a 7-point ship. In my opinion, I think he's genuinely a lot cheaper than that. But
so
that's just my opinion.
Looking at the Fang Fighter, Greg, make it make sense.
I can't. Wish I could do.
Mandalorian Royal Guard,
It
Joy
makes no sense.
Ruckoff, Cad Solus, Skull
Doesn't
Squadron,
make any
and
sense.
Zealous Recruit. all
Cad
5 things.
Solus and Joy Ruckoff being the same amount of points is
So-
insane. It's so stupid.
So hang
And
on.
the
So
I-1 and the I-4.
Zealous is the I1, right?
Yep.
Why does it have more loadout points than the I3 or I4? Generic.
Great question.
That's a wonderful question.
Oh gosh, and no whole upgrade either for that.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Zealous Recruit only gets 2 upgrade slots, whereas the Skull Squadron can carry a Torp.
Yeah, fair.
But I don't know why they gave it more loadout points. I don't know. I've been upset with the Fang pricing since this whole thing came out because I really want to fly 5 Fangs. I think that would be fun.
And not with Fenrir on them.
No. I'm just saying the generics. I don't think Fenn's points are off.
Yeah, I think he should come down a point, but that's just me. Boba went down.
Yeah,
and Crest Trellix went down. Boba going down to 9 makes him almost playable now.
Almost.
Everybody else is at 7 though.
If he had, if Scum had a lot more options for like 2 points, like for instance, I don't agree with the Mining Guild ties going up to 3 points. I think that they were fine at the 2 points because Scum needs those options, and even like one of the M3As being at 2 points, just so you can at least have the option of running a higher cost ships and still have some bodies to be put on the board alongside Boba. To at least make it a more of a viable list. But that's my take on it.
Well, folks, I will say that Greg is almost out of Snapple, so you know what that means.
Time to get another damn Snapple.
Oh, I was going to say this podcast is almost coming to an end.
Oh,
I am getting tired. I'm not gonna lie. Starting to fade a little bit.
All
right. Maul went up to 9 points.
Thank you, Crispy. Gosh.
No.
Yeah, you guys got a different points document because in mine, under that it says Dear Crispy.
Dace Bonearm up to 5 points. Why? Was he seeing that much play?
we don't know, JJ.
They made the ions like worse. So like I don't know why his ability would merit him being worth more. You know what?
It was
points just don't make any sense. They never have the
Mr.
only
Crocker says he gained the title slot.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. It was the title slot that made.
But he can't run Moldy Crow, can he?
Yeah, the Moldy Crow.
Yeah, he just gained the
How
title
much?
slot.
How much is it though?
0.
Moldy Crow's free. It's a title.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's why, but still, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. Manaru went up to 5 points. Ain't that something? They gave him more loadout points, but they said, "Hey, we're gonna give you a 5-point Manaru. Who's gonna run Manaru now?"
I think this furthered Greg's chassis basis nonsense.
So, Nanalum and Tel Shavor can now run sync laser cannons as their cannon, and the proton cannon as well because they get the double cannon slot now.
I don't know. You're not selling me here, buddy.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you rotate that to where you're getting shot on non-lum to fire back with a sync laser, it could be good, especially if you can equip 4 lom on there.
But I'm not going to take anybody over
Dengar
or over my rogue class squadron.
Look,
that's coming up.
I will say that in 1.0, Paratani was very, very fun, but I'm glad that it's no longer a thing.
Yeah. And then going on to the M3As, we got an overall decrease in points.
Thank God.
Yes. With loadout points too, which is good.
Yep, I can run.
Yeah, you know how many of those
now.
damn things I bought before 2.5 just so I could fly these fuckers, and then they screwed us. And I was like, I can't even put one of these on the table, like ever. Like, who would put a 5-point M3A on the table?
Yep,
no one.
Sirisu, maybe.
Yeah, and then the Mando ship got a bump down on their loadout points on Q9 and on Mando. They lost
the ship just came out. Why are we fucking with it already?
I know. Hey, you can't take contraband anymore to do Java bullshit.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Greg?
Points is not fucking with it.
Oh, I
Such
disagree.
a bad argument.
I think
So
it's a
bad.
great argument. A Hav went up to 3 points too.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't care that. I'll tell you what. I actually will still take a Hav over any of those other ones with their loadout points. Like, I would almost rather take that even over Overseer. Like, I still think a Hav is better.
Yeah.
For the chance that I have to fly against Charles.
What's Seavor is 4?
4.
And he has a cannon
For a
slot.
TIE fighter.
Yeah, he
Well,
got a
that's
cannon
right.
slot. Like, what the fuck?
Just in case you want to equip a 7-point fucking auto blaster.
You can't equip auto blasters anymore.
It's HLC and get somebody in bullseye with Seavor. Yeah, sure.
So let's talk about the Rogue Class Squadron. This will be the last faction. I do not think we're going to go over the rest of the list tonight. That'll be next week. So I guess, Greg, hopefully you're around next Sunday. And it'll be, we'll call it my birthday cast. And you can all drink scotch without ice in it. And
I'm gonna drink ice just to say fuck you.
I know you will. I know you will. That's fine. You paid for it. At least I didn't pay for it. So.
Yep.
All right, so I have a story, but we'll come back to my story in a minute. So remind me of my story. I'll tell you the story at the end of the show.
I will not.
I'm going to tell it anyway.
Oh.
So Rogue Class Squadron points, and this is where, Charles, I want your opinion, Charles, because they brought all 4 of the pilots in at 5 points, every one of them, and they all have the same, or they all have similar loadout points. So now, what is your thoughts on the Rogue Class Squadron points value with all of your upgrades?
I will never run Outer Rim Hunter ever.
we know that. That's fair. Done.
Ever.
Boom.
Ever.
Give the cards to Greg. They could be his giveaway cards.
Yeah, right?
Yep. Those are the not even the giveaway ones. They're the throw-ins. As I'm trying to get rid of more cards.
They're the auto thrusters of your giveaways. Yes.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't really like this ship, to be honest, but I'm gonna give it a shot and I'll buy it because it's a scum ship.
All right, I'm kind of excited for CAD being 5 versus 6. So.
Yeah.
Is there a difference in pilot ability between CIS CAD and Scum CAD?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Hands down.
Well, what if I wanted hands up?
Well, then you have to buy the CIS one and run CIS.
They both come in the same pack. Exactly.
No,
I don't think I think it's one pack and you get all the cards in it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. You're probably right.
That's how they've done it thus far. They might change it. Who knows? It's AMG.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing to end the podcast, because we're going to stop here for the points and stuff. I do want to remind everybody that we are going to be hosting our first live tournament here in Orlando, Florida. If you guys haven't heard on GSP, on July 9th, we're going to be hosting the Planning Phase Syndicate Showdown here in Orlando, Florida at our local shop here, FLGS Orlando. If you guys are able to come out, we're going to have a prize pool of $100 to be split between store credit to be split between the top 4 players. We're also going to be raffling off a Rogue Class Starfighter expansion pack for players there. We do have a couple of OP kits that we're going to give out for prizes as the tournament progresses, and we do have a couple of cards donated to us from PIM PIM Miniatures that we're going to be giving out as well there. If we do reach capacity, which the cutoff point for us, it will be 32 players. I will throw in a Z95 pack for the Republic on there too. So if you guys are able to come out and join us, GSP will be there to stream the event live over there. And we'll be broadcasting that there on Twitch on GSP's channel. Thank you. A big thank you to George Barrios from Bearded Squadron. He normally runs our local events there at the event, and he will be helping us out there as well. So if you guys are in the area around that time, hit us up. We'd love to see you guys, say hi, and have a great time.
Catherine, come home.
Yeah, we'd love to see you, Catherine. Yeah.
Is it Catherine kind of local to your area?
No, she's in Ohio now. Yeah.
She's in Ohio now, but I met her here originally. One of my first tournaments when I moved to Orlando, I met her here.
Yeah,
so
she kicked my ass.
Home, Catherine. She kicks everybody's ass. She's
everybody's ass. Yeah,
veteran level player.
Maybe you should bring Greg down there. We'll get Greg in some 2.5.
I have already demanded you move this tournament. When I'm going to be down there.
June 9th, right? Is when you'll be here.
19th.
19th, that's right. We're having NCX Con over in Tampa over at his parents' place. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I bet your parents will love that.
Yeah, we're all just going to knock on the door.
Can Greg come out and play?
Huh?
Well, apparently in Florida, I guess as long as you bring a bottle of scotch and a bag of ice, nobody cares. So there you go.
As opposed to Michigan, you go to parties and they make you drink Malort. That sounds
Malort,
like a much bigger upgrade.
Oh, it's disgusting. Who the fuck ever thought of Malort is beyond
Someone from
me.
Chicago, that's who.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, when you come back, who the fuck gave anybody in Michigan Malort? Like, that should just be eliminated. Somebody should just seriously eliminate the hell out of that. It's just awful. All right. With that being said, thank you all for joining us tonight. Next week is my birthday weekend, and so I will probably be somewhat radio silent on the weekend, but we will be doing our show on Sunday. It is a committal, maybe with my kids. I have no idea because they decided they might want to participate. I don't know. I expect a lot of fun next weekend. We will finish going over the points changes next weekend. I apologize that we couldn't have everything at one time. I can't have a 3-hour podcast. I just can't do it.
It's okay.
I can't last. The bottle of whiskey would be gone by that point, especially with Greg Snapple comments and his misunderstanding of points changes versus card erratas. I don't get it.
And on
They're
that
not-
note, thanks for joining us on Planning
So
Phase
not the
Syndicate.
same.
They are 100% the same. Say thank you. Yeah,
A
thanks.
bad argument.
So
Yeah,
hold
thank
on,
you.
hold on.
It is-
I have to take Greg's side. The points are not printed on the card. It's completely fucking different. Points
They were
are
in 1.0,
arbitrary.
and it's
But this isn't 1.0. Godzilla was a baby lizard at one point. He's not anymore.
1.0 sucks. It is
Fact.
not the same game. It's a different game. Stop comparing everything to 1.0.
I'm
That
just
is
saying.
not the baseline we're aiming for.
I'm just saying points
I'm not
changes
trying
are.
to go back to Nam.
You don't have to. Yeah, I hope you never were
Oh,
in
I know.
Nam. You're not even old enough to go to Nam.
You don't know where I've traveled.
That's her
Yes, I
storm.
do. I know exactly how old your ass is.
No, how old?
You are 37.
Wrong.
What are you? How old are you then?
38.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were 37, but that's
I
fine.
thought you
Well,
were.
you're wrong.
I thought you were
You're wrong.
younger
You're
than that.
humiliated. You should feel bad.
Yeah, when's your birthday?
March 16th.
All right, see? So that when you and I had this conversation, you were 37 or 38. But yes.
I was 38 today when we had this conversation.
No, we had this conversation before, motherfucker. I'll be 39 this year, so I don't even want to hear it.
I'll be 38
Am
this
I
year,
older
too.
than everybody? Fuck, I'm older than everybody on this podcast. God damn
Yeah,
it.
man. What's it like being 57?
Fuck
So-
you, Greg.
JJ, quick question: Is the tournament extended or standard?
It will be standard formats, yes.
Oh, you're killing me. Because Charles wanted to run his IG88s against you, but
No, I
And
want
it's
to
great.
run Star Vipers, but nope.
We never know, man. There could be a surprise announcement.
now,
There won't be,
JJ,
but yeah.
no, there's not going to be. We all know that it's not going to happen.
Don't get my hopes up, JJ. Don't play
You
with my
could just
emotions like
you
that.
run the tournament. You could just say Star Vipers are standard legal for this tournament. You could say that.
I could.
Buy a
but-
Charles
Star
owns
Viper.
enough that he can bring them for everybody. For fuck's
He's
sake.
not wrong.
Wait, as
He's not
giveaways? Wait,
No,
are
I'm
you
not
saying
giving away
right
my
now?
Star Viper.
All right.
Shut your dirty mouth.
Buy a Star Viper, get a black Sharpie, paint over the fucking box. Be like, I don't know what you guys are talking. This is like a black
That's what
box.
it is.
65% off of pin miniatures, you know? Yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you everyone for joining us. We will be back later this week with some games we're streaming. We will not be streaming Kyber Cup this week because they do not have actual Kyber Cup lists for us to be streaming this week. So we will not be able to do that. We will be back on Sunday. We will have our spoiler cast for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Maybe including Charles. I don't know. He seems to say no, he has no interest in it. So Either which way, me and JJ will be back, and Greg will join us hopefully next week to go over the rest of the points. And maybe at that point, I could convince him that points and erratas are the same thing. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Join us on Patreon. Join us on YouTube. Join us through any sort of means you can. Have a good night, and see you next week.
Good night, guys.